Hey friends, negative production externalities refer to external costs on society created by producers who are producing goods and services. So for example, in 2016, the oil trading company Trafigura produced petrol on a ship and dumped the harmful waste in West Africa. And as a result, this led to more than 100,000 people in West Africa needing medical assistance. And this particular example of Trafigura shows how negative production externality is an externality, because above the firm's private costs of producing and treating the petrol on the ship, there is the additional medical costs that the firm and the society needs to incur on all of the victims who are not involved in the petrol production on that particular ship. And this particular diagram that you see over here illustrates our example. If the firm were to be producing at a socially optimal level, it will be producing at this point over here, where the price is at optimal price and it is producing at a socially optimal level QPT. But instead, we see that it is producing at a higher than optimal quantity, reflected in the diagram as QM, and at a lower than optimal price, which is reflected in PM over here. So what does this mean? Firstly, we can see that the firm Trafigura is producing higher or more than what is socially optimal. And this is reflected as the gap between QM and QOPT. That is the first thing, right? And secondly, we see that this results in a negative production externality because the villagers in West Africa are affected medically by a decision that it was not made by them. So in this particular diagram, the externality is reflected as the gap between the MSC and MPC curves, which is also this yellow bar over here. MPC curves are the private costs borne by Trafigura to produce petrol, while the marginal social costs, which is the graph above, are the costs that the society as a whole incur as a result of the medical issues from this toxic waste dumping. So the key point to take away from this particular diagram is that when there is a negative production externality, the free market over-allocates resources to the production of petrol. Too much is produced relative to what is socially optimal. So translating this theory into the diagram, we see how that QM is at a higher level than QOPT, and the marginal social cost is higher than the marginal social benefits over here at the actual market equilibrium quantity, which is reflected in the diagram as QM. So naturally, if there is an overproduction of petrol relative to what is socially optimal, this will result in a welfare loss, which is reflected in this diagram as the green triangle over here.